Hi, Deacon John Wilson here. Just another aspect of your decision is the idea of a consensus between you and your youth. I said I would talk about that. I hear a lot of times this time of year from parents that, will say to me uh, things like they want what's best for their child. Everybody does, or I just want a good school. Okay. But the one that gets to me the most is when parents say, and you're probably thinking this, so we have to deal with it, is when you say you just don't want loans and a whole lot of debt. But yet, everything about the decision you might make here is going to be about those things. You're going to have to decide how much debt you're willing to take, because most people can't just write a check for 35, 40,000 in a year. You're going to have to take some debt, and you'll say this time of year you don't want to take debt. That if you told your youth you don't want to take debt, but they're pushing for a school where you're going to have to take debt. For example, if you're looking at a private school and you made more than $100,000, you're looking at debt because even if they gave you their highest merit award, you're going to owe something. But most students don't get that highest merit award. They get in with some kind of money, but not high enough to make a serious difference to where you don't have to take out loans. Um, let's talk about, therefore, the consensus decision and what I mean by consensus before a school is picked. Here's what I mean about the idea of a consensus opinion about college and how there's this creative tension between you and your youth, what they want, what you can afford. Um, I watch it every year. It's something that happens. But this year, the stakes are higher with private schools costing so much more now. And they've gone up faster than the amount of the grants for middle class families. But let's take a look at what I think about consensus. Now, I'm an engineer. I was for years an engineer in aerospace. And we dealt with a thing called an AND gate. So let's take a look at what an AND gate looks like. That's what it looks like. That's the symbol for it. And what it means is if you have two inputs, they have to be in perfect agreement, meaning yes and yes, for there to be yes on the outside. So we can have one input is yes, the second input is yes, and that gives you a yes out. That's what a consensus opinion looks like. You and your youth agree, and that's the output. You might say you'll agree with whatever they say, but you have a say because you got to pay for it. Well, here's the other possibility for that AND gate. Okay. You could have somebody saying no, somebody saying yes. That needs to be a no. I mean, you never force them to go somewhere they don't want to go. And they shouldn't really feel that their opinion about their lives should go because just because it's their life. You have to pay for it. So we need this first situation where we have consensus. But if you have this situation where the parents say no and the student says yes, there should be no decision. I'm sorry, there shouldn't be. It should be talked out further. Perhaps some kind of mediation can occur, and I'm, of course, perfectly willing to do that. But perhaps there needs to be some give and take, right? Maybe the student goes to 2-year college for 2 years, and then you go ahead and take out the debt for 2 years. You'll save 50% that way. Maybe there's another alternative to be picked, right? That will give the student, in terms of career, what they need. So we need to have this idea of a consensus opinion. This first one over here, where both are yes, and you get a yes out. That's what we need. So while you're making a decision, have that in mind. There needs to be a consensus in opinion or direction for there to be a successful outcome for the family. That's the way you need to approach this. You know, um, some of you feel that maybe you'll appeal for more money, but they're going to wait you out to April 30th and May 1st is the national decision day. And if there's a gap of 40 or 50,000, they might give you 5,000, but you still have a sizable gap. Unless you've thought ahead of time and said, well, I'll take a debt of 20, 25,000. Maybe you have money saved or whatever. Maybe you just can do it. But it may not get down to that point where it's something you're willing to do. All right, Deacon John Wilson here. Give me comments below. Please like and subscribe if you want to see videos like this. Leave me a comment. I'd love to know where your student is deciding to go to school. That would be really great. And I'll have another great video around this topic tomorrow. I want to talk some more about if you have a school, two schools, or even three that are all acceptable costs, how do you help your student make that particular decision uh, very well? So give me a call if you want to have help on how you decide, you want to appeal to me and let me help mediate the solution. I'm here to help. God bless you. Thank you very much. Goodbye now.